Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Janki ji, Hari Om everyone. I welcome everybody for today's big group discussion. We have 4 groups here with us. And the first group monitor, Meera, I leave it to you. Please mention your group members and your question. So over to Meera. Meera, are you there?
I don't think Meera's there. So I will read the question since I was part of that group. I will. So our group had 4 members: Meera, Jatin, Kumundini, and myself. Just. So the question was, how does detachment and perfect action go hand in hand? Detachment and perfect action go hand in hand when one performs it effortlessly with no ego or likes and dislikes, not longing for the fruit of action which eventually leads to the fall of desire. This can be done if one trains one's intellect on a daily basis to avoid distractions while always keeping a higher goal in mind. So this was our answer.
So, Kumutini, you are our Sri Lankan Kumutini. Okay. So the question is, how does detachment and perfect action go hand in hand? The question is not clear. What exactly are you asking? How does detachment and perfect action go hand in hand? So what exactly were you trying to ask, Kumudini? You're muted.
Yes, I was trying to ask, how can we do perfect action while having the feeling of detachment?
I see. So the question is, how does one do perfect action when one is detached? So maybe if you had put it like this, it would have been clearer. So, so a lot of what they are saying is true, but the first point is that detachment and perfect action are synonymous terms. Okay, they mean exactly the same thing. Oops, I lost you. Where are you, Kumotini? Ah, here you are again. Okay. So detachment and perfect action means the same thing because they both mean there is no ego, no likes and dislikes, and no fruit of action. They both mean that. So when you're detached, your action has to be perfect. What stops us from perfect action is either that I did something I felt like, or I did it egoistically, or I did it craving for a fruit. So that's what makes my action imperfect, right? So detached means all these 3 things are not there. So, I mean, the answer is there somewhere in your answer as a group, but it's not precise, neither the question nor the answer. The question is, how can one do a perfect action when one is detached? That's the question. So the answer is detachment and perfect action mean exactly the same thing because both of them have got no ego, likes and dislikes, no ego, no likes and dislikes, and no fruit of action.
Okay.
So the consequence of not having this is it is done effortlessly.
Okay.
Because when you have any one of these, what happens is there's so much mental agitation that you're putting in so much effort just to counter the agitation initially within. So it just seems like so much effort. Like, suppose you're all excited about a party that you're having, and bad example for these times, but suppose 5 people are coming over and you got so excited and half the jobs you're doing wrong because it's so excited and people are coming and I want to make this dish, I want to make this dish, I want to make so many dishes, but I don't have neither the time nor the ability, but I'm going to go and try and make this and I'm all hassled, and by the time everybody comes, I have almost got a heart attack. So it's not effortless. It's effort, not effort in a good sense here, effort in a bad sense. In the sense that you go on repeating actions because you're making so many mistakes. You keep on, you have to do that over and over again because you didn't do it right the first time. Or you over committed, or you did something incorrect, as a consequence of which you have to work more than you need to. Okay, so that's the sense of effort. Now, this can be done if one trains one intellect on a daily basis to avoid distractions while always keeping a high. She's not asked the question, how to achieve this? So we don't need to answer that question. The question only is, how can one do perfect action if one is detached? So the answer is the two are the same. And why are the two the same? By definition, both of them mean the same thing. Is that clear?
Yeah, very much clear. Thank you. Thank you, Janki ji.
Take a minute to reflect.
Ma'am, sorry, I have a question. But unless and until one doesn't have a higher goal, I know we are speaking very practically, but unless one doesn't have a higher goal, our mind would get distracted, right?
Correct.
So it's higher goal and not focusing on ego, which is likes and dislike. That's it.
Yes, but now you can't say everything you want to or everything you know. You have to just answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
The question is simple, that how can you do perfect action when you're detached? Because the assumption in detachment is that you're just sitting behind and doing nothing. So we define what is detachment and you define what is the perfect action, and you find they're exactly the same. But nobody's asking you how to do a perfect action or how to be detached. That's not part of the question. So why are we talking about it? If somebody does ask the question, that's the next question.
Jackie, isn't one the process and the other the outcome? So how can these two terms be the same?
Because nobody asked the process. Who's asked the process? The question is, how can you do a perfect action if you're a detached person? That's the question. In the sense of detached people will not do perfect actions. At least that's my understanding from what she said. That if you're detached, that means you sat back and you got nothing to do with what's going on and all that sort of thing. So if you are going to be like, I don't care what's going on, then how will you ever do the right action? But that's not what detachment means, right? Detachment means when you're not functioning on likes and dislikes. Detachment means that you're able to keep some distance between you and your likes and dislikes, between you and your ego, between you and the fruit of action. But detachment is normally understood to mean, I'm away from everybody and everything. So that's where the issue is. She's not asking how do we achieve this. It would not be part of the question. It would be another question. She's only trying to understand the concept. As far as how does detachment and perfect action go hand in hand as a question, we really don't know what it means. How over here can mean methodology. How over here can mean how is it possible. So the question as it's written here is not clear. So the first thing that the group has to do is write down a question that is clear. So this is not clear. How does detachment and perfect action go hand in hand? This sentence is subject to various interpretations. We must get a question or a sentence which is not subject to various interpretations. That's why you all are having this problem, because you all are saying how means method, so method should be there. But she's not asking that, as far as I understand from what she said right now. Maybe I'm mistaken. Kumudini, were you asking method or were you asking comprehension of the concept?
The concept.
Concept, right?
I understood. Well, yeah. Thank you, Janki.
We had a
one more
we had
thing.
we had a
Ma'am?
20-minute discussion on framing the question correctly, and this is what we agreed would be the.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Don't tell me what happens in group discussion. I know.
Ma'am, may I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Ma'am, actually, Kumudini was asking us, how will she achieve this on a day-to-day basis? Practically.
You can't change the question. I mean, and now this is not the time to discuss this.
No, that is what she was asking. That is why we went ahead and added this. This can be done if one trains one's intellect on a daily basis. That is why we gave that answer.
But that's not there in the question at all.
Yeah, it's not there in the question, correct.
So why are we talking about it? We don't justify what happened in the thing. Let's move on. Otherwise, every group will start telling me what happened. I know what goes on. I have attended thousands of group discussions in my life. Don't even tell me what goes on.
Not that.
Okay, we can move on. If you have a clarification on the answer, then we can take it up. But we don't need to clarify what all went on.
Correct.
Yeah, I call upon group to monitor Manoj. Is Manoj here?
He has fallen sick. So I will only read my question.
Yeah, sure. Can you mention your group members?
Yes. We were 4 of us, Manoj Bhai, Sahadev Bhai, Rita and myself, and I am the questioner. Okay. So the question is, when we say whatever happens, happens for the good, is this statement true for a person on the spiritual path or for a passively good person?
You can't add anything, Shilpa.
No.
Just read.
Yeah, okay. Yes, to an extent, it is true as you temporarily stop worrying and don't get too agitated. You might accept it then, but on further analysis later, the result may not seem to satisfy your expectations. To seek answers and develop a positive attitude, you need a guru for a better understanding of the laws of cause and effect, or some external help for further guidance.
So where are the group members? I can't see Sahadev and Rita. Who's Rita?
She just left. She came, but she came late, so she just left. She said her internet was not good, so she wasn't there.
Oh, okay. So now there's Shilpa and Sahadev, right? Okay, so when we say whatever happens, happens for the good, is the statement true for a person on the spiritual path? Why? When we say whatever happens, happens for the good, is the statement true for a person on the spiritual path? As far as I know, I have not said that. So I don't know where you got this from. Whatever happens, happens for the good. Is this statement true for a person on the spiritual path? I'm not sure that this statement is true for anybody at all, spiritual path or otherwise.
See, the question, my question was for the passively good person. I mean, and then
no,
in
but
the description.
Wait, Shilpa, no explaining. This is not the place to explain. You all get 1 full hour to write down a question exactly what you want it to be.
Yes,
Don't
I had
let them discuss your question until you're happy with the wording.
I had sent it again, but it was not okay.
You're saying that you had given it as part of the question, but it wasn't written. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the addition you wish to make to the question?
Not on the spiritual path, for the passively good person.
Okay, so what?
That advice.
Is this statement true? The statement is not true. Straight away, the statement is not true. Whatever happens, happens for the good. So I take drugs, I become a drug addict, and now this is a good thing that happened to me. So how is the statement going to hold good?
Yeah.
But what the statement is that whatever circumstance you are in, you can use it for your spiritual growth, which is a completely different thing.
Yes, the framing was wrong.
Yeah, you can use it like that because whatever circumstances is, it's good for your spiritual growth. That is the statement, not whatever happens, happens for the good. Now, if anybody misunderstands and says this is true, now we don't have to discuss their misunderstandings, right?
Yes.
So the statement is not true. So therefore, we don't need to talk about who it is true for because statement is not true.
The question. Okay.
So when you say this is now for the whole group, the wider group. When you start your question with when we say, we're going to be studying this on Thursdays. I hope we get there. When we say, who's the we who says? Is your first question. Who said it? Where was it said? In what context was it said? Who's the we? So you can't quote like that unless you tell us where is your quotation from? Who's the person who said this? So you say, okay, in Vedanta treatise I found it, or in Bhagavad Gita I found it, or you said it in class, or so whatever you want to say, but you must tell us who's the we. Otherwise, it falls under a fallacy which we have studied or we haven't studied as yet. Well, it could fall under which fallacy? Who can tell me? Have we studied it? Where are we in the text?
Vox Populi.
Yeah, very good. Who said that? Bharat, is that you?
Yes.
Very good. Yes, everybody says so, therefore it is true. No. Who is this person who said it? Go catch hold of that person and ask him to justify whatever he said. Him or her. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Janki.
I feel sorry for you all. No matter how dissatisfied you all are, you have to say sorry. It's very sad. Just thank you. Don't have to. It's okay. You can say I don't agree also. That is also okay. This is group discussion. There's no authority figure.
Yeah, we move on to group 3 and the monitor is Aditi. Is Aditi here?
Yes, I'm here. Hari Om, everybody. The questioner Asha and V. Kalyan Kumarji was also one of the group members. The question is, how does one know what areas one has to be careful in being true to oneself? After a lot of discussion and going over time, we finally came with the no consensus.
So this thing of no consensus, when you all discuss something, a good way to go about it is to, so you start with the question, how does one know what area one has to be careful in being true to oneself? Okay, now you all will discuss and you all will find some point at which there is a debate. Okay, so this is the point. So when you tell us no consensus, also tell us no consensus because the point of debate was this particular thing. Since we did not know the answer to this thing, we could not come to a consensus. If you cannot answer the question, what was the point of debate? It means it was a gossip session. Everybody was talking all over the place. Nobody was talking specifically of any point. If you are talking specifically of a point, then you must know this is the point at which the debate took place. And we could not decide. So I think from now on, let us make a rule that when we say no consensus, what is the point of debate? Is that okay with all of you? Are you happy
Yes,
to let us
Janki,
know?
if you,
Otherwise,
yes,
it's just,
Janki, it's okay.
Otherwise what happens is that everybody is saying whatever they want. Nobody is listening to anybody else. So if you want to talk like that, you live in a family, that's how they talk. Please go ahead and talk to them like that. But this is group discussion. So we have to know what is the area in which we are not agreeing and see if we can sort that area out. It's all over the
So,
place.
Janki ji, can I say?
You can say.
Can I say the area that we were not?
Yeah, please.
So, the area where we got stuck is where we were arguing about mind-driven and intellect-driven, and where one of the members did not agree that it is related to do with much with the intellect. Group members, you all can also add if I have misunderstood or if I haven't conveyed it in the manner which needed to be conveyed.
So then next time when you do this, you say no consensus because we could not, we agreed up to this point and we could not agree after this point. So you know what is happening basically in discussion, not in group discussion. Normally everybody talking to everybody. Everybody's talking, nobody is listening. And therefore each one is on their own trip. Why do you think that people fight so much? Because they don't come to the point. What is it we are debating about? So at least as far as group discussion, it's like our, wall practice in tennis. We practice. At least in our group discussion, let us know what did we disagree on, what is that point, and can we clarify then that particular point. Otherwise, everybody is talking how normally, it's like a fight going on at home. Everybody is talking at the same time. Nobody is listening. Nobody is saying that I don't agree with 4 of your points, but I do agree with this particular point. Why don't we say that? Because you normally find 4 out of 5 points are agreed. So why don't we admit it? Suppose we are discussing should India be democratic or monarchical. Suppose we're discussing that. Okay, and one side says monarchy and one side says democratic. There'll be some points on which we agree, right? Even though I may say India should be a democracy, I may still be able to see that those guys who are saying monarchy have 1 or 2 valid points. Why don't I accept that? I mean, it's definitely good manners, but that's how we learn to think also. Normally, if we just stick with good manners, I think we'll be doing pretty well in life. So, is that okay? So next time, let us know what are the points you agreed on and which is the point we came to that we didn't agree on. So then we can talk about that point. All right? Let us all work hard to make these discussions a real attempt at us trying to listen, trying to synthesize, trying to think. And we have to all, personally take responsibility for that.
So, Janki ji, the point which we didn't agree on was that the intellect should be used in order to know. So it seemed more like a generalized statement. So that was the point we didn't agree on.
So somebody said you don't have to use the intellect in being careful?
No, the answer, like somebody said we have to use the intellect and not use the mind. So that seemed more like a generalized statement. That was one of the points we didn't agree on.
Okay, we won't go into it now because let us have it written down. You can bring up the question again next time. Okay, so we have to answer this question also. How does one know what areas one has to be careful in being true to oneself? How does know what areas one has to be careful in being true to oneself? What do you mean being careful and being true to oneself?
One feels I'm being true to myself. It's, I guess सबको यही लगता होगा. So how do we be careful? Okay, this could be an area I may not be being true to myself.
Being true to yourself, what does it mean being true to yourself? It means that you are applying your intellect to decide what is the right action, right? According to you. That's what being true to yourself is. So applying your gross intellect, applying your subtle intellect, applying your conviction, applying your conscience. So inherent in being true to yourself is being careful. How can you be true to yourself without being careful? Because you applied your head in that. Following your conviction means doing what according to you is the right thing. According to your gross intellect, following your conscience means doing what according to your subtle intellect is the right thing. So inherent in that process is being careful that you're genuinely doing what you think is right. And if you think it's right, well, then it is right as far as you're concerned.
Yeah, that was the point of difference with one of the members.
Yes,
So,
Janki ji, two of us had come with this answer, and to be very honest, it was actually it was in a platter given to us because of the arjavam that you had spoken about being true to it, and one of us had taken notes of it, and we really tried to convince reading the entire notes of what you had written.
You can't use authority during group discussion.
Yeah, but I'm just being very, because we wanted to find out the definition
Okay,
of
don't we not
arjavam.
finish everybody's question if we start analyzing
Okay.
unnecessary stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so come on. Are you okay, Ashya? Do you have any clarification on the answer?
Janki ji, I still won't know how, in what areas I'm not being true to myself.
You don't have to go unnecessarily hunting. If you are in all areas doing what according to you is right, then you're fine. Why are you going hunting that somewhere I mustn't be doing it right? Why? You do what according to you is right, and do your morning studies, and your understanding of what is right will improve. When your understanding of what is right will improve, then you will know that, okay, this area I have to buck up a little bit more. But today you cannot do what you don't understand, right?
Janki ji, so would the areas in which one is failing or lagging behind be indication that those need to be worked at?
No, not necessary. You have to know what you're trying to achieve. If you start thinking of what I'm lagging behind now, we are lagging behind in 1 million things. What are we not lagging behind? So we have to look at it from a perspective, what am I trying to achieve and am I getting there? Like now, suppose I say my English is not good enough, and I would be right in saying that. So I'm lagging behind in my English, so I should buck up, and I'll be correct about all of that. But like that, I'm lagging behind in everything. I'm not as fit as, I don't know, somebody. I'm not as good in English as somebody else. I'm terrible in mathematics anyway, without even comparing it to anybody else. So now everything, if I start attending, I never do anything with my life. I have to figure out what is it I'm trying to achieve, and am I doing whatever I need to get there?
Okay.
Janki, sometimes they are interconnected, the areas. So if you're looking at a specific area, but you may be weaker in the other area. So then what happens is that you do have to consider different, don't know how to express it, then how does one work?
No, then you do whatever according to you is right. Suppose you're trying to achieve something and you don't have a particular skill to achieve that, then you have to get that skill or you have to delegate the skill. You have to decide what according to you is what you're trying to get and what according to you is the path towards what you're trying to get. And what in that path is still something you have to pick up skills on or whatever it is you're feeling the lack in.
So, ma'am, what you're saying is you have to take individual action and then analyze whether you're being true to yourself.
No,
Not
wait.
like that.
Your being true to yourself means that you did what according to you was right. That's what it means.
Yeah, we move on to group 4. Anita is the monitor. Anita, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, can you go back, Ganesh? The questioner was Sarah Khan. Janki ji was part of our group. Deepa, Omkar and Bharat were part of the group. Question. Sarah asked, can a widely accepted fact be an irrational belief? And she gave an example saying, research says white cops are racist. So we discussed it in detail and came up with this answer. The term fact cannot be, when you use a term fact, cannot be irrational as it is something that is proven. However, the example given is irrational for the following reasons. The statement, white cops are racist, is incomplete as it does not say whether all or a proportion or a probability of white cops are racist. There is no definition for the term white. There is no definition for the term racist. The fourth one is, we do not know the source of the research and what the research says. The very fact saying the research says is irrational. Therefore, this statement does not have the necessary criteria for an examined belief. In our group, we were widely helped by Janki ji for the answer. She was part of the group.
When you write the answer, Anita,
yeah,
you should also say, therefore, this statement does not have the necessary criteria for an examined belief, and hence it is an irrational belief because you have not defined examined belief, right?
Okay.
I mean, that term has not been used at all. We have
Okay.
been using the term irrational. So we have to conclude with that idea.
Okay. Yeah.
If you're making a concluding statement.
Yeah. Okay.
So, ma'am.
And also the first point would be better written as fact means something proven and therefore cannot be irrational. Then it's clear to the person hearing it for the first time.
Okay. Yeah.
May I ask a doubt?
Yeah, actually, Deepa has to give us permission to speak.
I give permission to speak. Yeah, please come up with your questions to discuss this.
I was just wondering that even in a question, ma'am, do we have to, when we use a particular word in a question, do we have to define it before we find the answer?
Depends on what the word is. Okay. I mean, you can't go on defining every word, but if it rests on a certain idea, we must know what it means. Such as, with detachment and perfect action, how can they happen together? So then the first point is, what is detachment? What is perfect action? Because the question hinges on that. So here it says, can a widely accepted fact be an irrational belief? So there's something wrong here, in the sense that a widely accepted fact, if you're calling it a fact, how can it be irrational? So it doesn't matter now whether it's widely or not.
Sister
Deepa has to say.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Deepa,
please go ahead, Sarah. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Sister Janki, so basically, I know you answered my question and very well answered, everybody did. What I wanted to know is if we don't look at the example at all and just based on the question, can a wide, I believe what I meant was can a widely perceived fact, a widely accepted fact, something that's accepted in the US as a fact, can it actually be an irrational belief? So,
of course, there is no question there, because that's straight away vox populi. Vox populi means the belief of the masses. I mean, everybody says so. I think we did that, right? Everybody says so.
Everybody, yes.
That is straight away then.
Okay.
Of course. We studied that, didn't we do that portion?
Janki ji, we did it during
Not
the extra classes when you are taking 2 special classes on the book.
We haven't covered it in the book as yet?
No.
Not yet.
Not in the Thursday one, no.
Oh, okay, fine. So we are about to put that.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
So, yeah, so in answer to that, yes, anything that is widely believed can be false. And it's widely believed that research backs it can also be false because it's widely believed. So just because it's widely believed doesn't have any truth value in it.
Okay. Even if the masses claim it to be a fact.
What masses claim is irrelevant.
Okay.
It is a fact once you have proven it, and you cannot ever prove the statement, white cops are racist. How? Because it's an incomplete statement in itself.
Mm-hmm.
How can you say white cops are racist? What is white? What is cops? What is racist? And what is that statement saying? The statement in itself is not saying anything. In the sense that it's saying, not telling us, is it saying all white cops are racist? 80% of white cops are racist, or there's a 70% probability that if you are a white cop, you will be racist. What is your statement? The statement is not there.
Yes, Mr. Janki, those are the kind of statements that are made, and I wanted to find out from you if they are considered facts or they would be considered irrational beliefs. And Mr. Janki, regarding fact, if most white cops are racist and the research proves it, is it valid for somebody to just make a claim, proclaim that as a fact that white cops are racist? If 95% of them are racist, it would still be wrong to say white cops are racist, right? It has to be either all, most, some, or, right? Okay. Thank you.
Hariom, I have a question. Deepa, can I ask?
Yeah, of course, Ganesh.
Yes, ma'am. But I've been following the news, and there have been so many incidents of that comes on YouTube where white cops are doing that. I know it's to do sometimes to do with a person's character. I know the research is not perfect, but after having so many incidents, can we make a statement like that? I know it is not research based, but it's.
Can we make a statement like that? No. Like a statement of what can we make?
Okay.
Okay, what? What is the statement you're asking me? Can we make it?
No, if then in that case, everything has to be backed by research. Every statement that we make has to be backed by research, specific research.
No, that is not what the thing is. Sarah's question is, if it is widely held, can it be irrational? Answer yes. It's not rational because many people think so. If you have done all the necessary examination of a concept and find it to be true, then it's a rational belief as far as you're concerned. I mean, just generally say this and generally say that is not a mark of a good thinker. Just say anything at all you feel like.
Okay.
We are not saying they are not racist. Making no statement about whether they are racist or not. We have no idea whether they are racist or not. Who's examined this? We have to examine it and let us know whether they are. And if he claims they are, then is he saying all of them are? What is his statement? What is the statement? We don't have a statement over here.
Okay. Okay. Understood, ma'am.
So we are done with all the 4 groups and the questions. Can anybody, Janki ji, can they ask general questions since we have
I have a
another
question
20
with regard to
minutes?
this one.
Yeah, please.
If you may allow. So,
Yeah,
Janki,
yeah, please.
where is the place for popular beliefs? Like, for example, here in India, we may say that Gujaratis and Marwadis are great at business. Or in the US, they may say Jews are the best or the shrewdest businessmen and stuff like that. What place does that have in terms of our definition of irrational belief? Because you can't possibly examine this through research or whatever, but these are popular beliefs.
Just because it's popular doesn't mean anything. The most important thing is we cannot go and start on finding out the truth of everything. You have to decide. The important thing for us to know is do I have sufficient information on this to base any decision? Now, I am starting a business. This person is a Marwadi. I've heard Marwadis are good at business, so I'm doing business with him. This is bad logic. This is just really bad thinking. Okay, so you cannot go and figure out now each thing in the world, how many millions of things there are. But if you're about to take action on something, you should have examined that thing, no? Whatever you're about to take action on.
So
Now, in this case of white cops are racist, I'm about to go and shout at a white cop. I'm about to take action on it. So have I done sufficient examination to take this action? Otherwise, I'm set off now to go fight white cops. But this particular cop in front of me may have been God's gift to mankind for all I know. And he was the most ardent supporter of my cause. And then I've just shot him. So now I have no supporter left. So if you're about to take an action based on some concept, you're better off if you have examined that concept. So, random actions we're taking based on unexamined beliefs. I mean, like, how do we expect life to come out properly?
So you may not take something to be the only decisive factor, but because it is a popular belief, you may want to consider that. For example, you said Marwadis are great businessmen. If you are aware of this popular belief, you may want to give that belief weightage when you're making a decision versus
what you want to do is your business.
So there is a place for popular beliefs, right?
Huh? It would come under that. You want to give the popular opinion that much weightage, that is up to you. But the fact is, this is a statement of popular opinion, and we have not found many instances of them being sufficient for us to come to conclusions. Now, at the moment, one day you're told, oh, code is so bad, one day it's told it's getting better, one day this, one day that. Should you not look at the government website and see what they are saying? Jumping every day in different news, so everybody's saying this or that. Every new medical, quasi-medical theory on, what will help you. Are you willing to adopt? So now you're doing 50 different things so that even if one of them was right, it will not give you the benefit because it was one of the 50 you did. Now they're clearly saying things like steaming is good for you. Many sort of things. Now, okay, we already know that steaming does a certain amount of good, so it's a possibility. But Now, one day I heard steaming is good. One day I heard something else is good. One day I heard something. I never ended up doing any of them. So at least let me do steaming. If I believe that is correct, let me do that at least sufficiently. Or let me choose from the various options and decide this is the one I want to finally do. But then stick with that thing, not jump every day. I mean, this is all irrational. Harder than some forward will come. Every day you'll change your mind.
So also a fact which is proven may change in the future, right? So it's dynamic. It can't be. It's proven as in today.
That's correct.
How does one make decisions if everything is moving and everything has to be based on reasoning? It becomes very
What is
difficult.
your option? You don't want to do it like this. So what is your option?
I think it has to be a mixture of popular belief, facts, and what people say, gut instinct.
That is your personal opinion, Omkar. We can't be discussing what your personal opinion is. I'm just asking you what are your options. If you don't go by reason, what are your options? You will have to go by absence of reason. If that works for you, fine. Whatever works for you, good. But at least know if you think it will work well, if you reason, you won't get it right all the time. But if you don't reason, you probably get it wrong more often. Your reason is not perfect. It's far from perfect. But the greatest advantage of using your reason is knowing that you can be wrong. And therefore you work with that assumption. You don't work when you don't use reason, you work on the assumption that you're right. And that creates even more issues. Reason may not be perfect, but you don't have much of an alternative. So what are you going to do? What you feel like doing, which is what most people do. And we know where that takes us. Don't be under reason doesn't mean dry logic, okay? Reason means the balanced view of a situation. Doesn't say, okay, you have to be very logical. No, you can't be. Life is full of probabilities. It's not full of certainty. Not logical like that, but it is reasoned, it is balanced, it is considering as many factors as you can. My brother likes to say you have to know the known unknowns and the unknown unknowns. One of his favorite statements. That you know at the moment you don't know certain things, but beyond the things you don't know, there are many other things which you haven't even figured out you don't know. And they can come and bark at you any day. So you have to give yourself leeway for that. And you know that you're getting it right if everything is working more or less smoothly. If it's not working more or less smoothly, then you're not getting it right. Yes, there can be a sudden sort of anything come and bite us from anywhere at any point. Like COVID, we didn't even know the possibility of such a pandemic. So it was an unknown. It suddenly hit us. But if we have trained ourselves to work on reason, even when pandemic hits us, we'll still be good to go. It's okay. It's all right. It's still doing fine.
Janki ji, so at the time of taking action, if not enough data is available, so what is the last minute jugaad one can do?
You have no option but to use your intellect and decide what is the best that can be done under this situation. And jugaad, if you want, it's always good to take advice. Not from any random stranger, not from popular opinion, but somebody who has specific knowledge in that particular thing. Not just anybody, chalo, give me advice, like this. Women go down and talk over your, oh, I'm having this problem, give me some advice. And then they all give each other advice. And all, I don't know what comes out of that advice, but it's, you choose who is this person in this particular situation would be a person to guide me here. Not just because I like the person, not because that person is generally wise. No, this situation, who is the best person? For instance, if you wanted to make a decision about some financial decision regarding your properties, would you go and talk to Swamiji about it? Or would you speak to somebody you know who is able to do that? Swamiji may give a perspective on it, but he won't take a perspective that might open your mind to options. That he will do. But the numbers of it, you will have to go to a number person for. There's different things that different people do for us. But the worst thing we do to ourselves is believe we know how to deal with. That's the worst thing we do to ourselves. We are just not willing to say, I don't know how to handle this.
Also, Janki ji, we go to people who support us mostly.
Or we suffer from some kind of shyness that, oh, may I ask anybody this question? But you think your brain can solve every problem on this surface of this earth? There's this shyness, there's arrogance, there is just stupidity, plain stupidity, there's misunderstanding. But you know from the result whether you're doing this right. Are you feeling happy, contented? Is everybody around you happy, contented? These are our tests.
Thank you. I think I'll be coming to you only.
Okay, be warned. Which topic? Bharat, if it's about weights, I will be coming to you.
Janki ji, can I ask a question from what you said?
Yeah, Deepa has to moderate the proceedings.
Yes, please go ahead.
Janki ji, you said about shyness. So does shyness come from the space of ego?
Yes, all of this comes from ego. I'm too arrogant to ask or I'm too shy to ask. When I'm, I have this problem constantly that people will say, I want to ask you a question, but I'm not going to give you the information. You asking me the question. How am I supposed to answer it if you don't give me the information? But they don't want to give the information. So it's all round. What? And then they say, yeah, I did what you said, but I never told you to do anything. I'm sometimes very worried when people tell me things like that. How could I have advised you when I don't know the details? If you go to a doctor and say, look, I'm not well, I need your help, and refuse to tell the doctor what the problem is because you're too shy, and you say, okay, I did whatever you said, and he'll be like taken aback, I didn't tell you anything, Baba. So you have all these constant issues. Or they say, bless me, some nonsense. Bless you? I wish it was possible, and then I know the greatest person. I will go take his blessings. He is not blessing me, then how can anybody bless anybody?
Because Janki, sometimes it's misunderstood as good behavior also, most of the times.
Misunderstood as?
Good behavior. Shyness.
Good behavior. That's correct. There are many wrong notions. That's what the whole book is about. Full of wrong notions in our head, and it's keeping us down. We don't get it. We are busy protecting our wrong notions. We are busy trying to prove they're not wrong. Pagal ho kya? You're closing your own potential up. Full of wrong notions and not willing to see it.
Thank you so much.
Very sad.
Deepa, can I ask a question?
Yeah, please. We have another 5 minutes, so
okay,
you can go ahead.
Yeah, Janki ji, as you are part of our group, can you give us a feedback of our group discussion? I know as a monitor, I failed because I think we went much beyond time. How we went about the group discussion, and can you give us a feedback?
Yes, In most of the places, in fact, in that group as well as what we heard today, many people have got the germ of the idea somewhere in what they are saying. So that's good because that shows that you've done a certain amount of study. But there's too much extra stuff going on. If we can all remove that extra stuff, we are good to go because the basis is sort of clear. So if we can all learn to do that as a group and figure out that, okay, the point may have been okay, but you're adding too much stuff. Let's remove all this extra bits. Then we'll be good to go. Then the other thing is always that everybody starts talking as if nobody said anything before. It's like each one is like throwing something up. So that won't work. We have to say, okay, you said this point. I agree with you on this point. And from that point, I'm saying this one. So we know that much is clear. We're all on the same page as much as this is concerned. And you didn't fail as a monitor, Anita. We all failed. The group takes responsibility. So in fact, that's one of the points I did want to bring up with you all, that if you all feel 1 hour is too short, you're free to make it 1 hour, 15 minutes. Maybe that will give us more time to think and less time to push our opinions down other people's throats. So that may be a thing. And also thinking maybe each small group discussion, maybe if try to be there for one group in each group discussion, so that hopefully we'll all have some exposure and to it. What is think that will work? Just keep trying different things. Remember? Huh?
No, I didn't follow what you said.
In every small GD, I'll be in one of the small.
Okay, you will be in one. Okay.
So look, we are all working on this together. We're trying to reach a particular end. What is the end we're trying to reach? That we all become thinking individuals. So any ideas you have or any you think we improve it more if we do it in this way or that way, please just say it, because we're here to think. So let's come up with ideas. Let's not say that these are the rules and you have to follow them. These particular rules have been placed for a particular purpose. If you find a better way of achieving the same purpose, well, let's talk about it. Because everybody has to think constantly, right? Not just like we're not mechanically doing anything of it. We're willing to think about everything. So at the end of this thing, we must become the thinkers ourselves. Okay? We're not relying on anybody else's thinking. I mean, not relying means we're not, what should I say, leaning on anybody else's thinking. So whatever you think will work to make that happen, let's do it. So at the moment, the new idea is, okay, suppose I'm there in each small group. Let's see if that is of any contribution. I don't want to embarrass the group back.
That will definitely help, Janki ji, because
Yes.
you'll give feedback as to, how to, you'll at least know all the shortcomings where we are falling back. So that will, I think, we'll improve a little bit after you take part.
Yes, ma'am. I hope so. I mean, basically, we have to just start removing the rubbish. That's the whole process of Vedanta anyway. It's just removing stuff. It's never adding anything. So, so we try that. We keep trying different things, but as a group, we must all become thinkers. That's our end product.
Deepa, one very small question can I ask?
Yes. The last question now.
Janki ji, how do you getting to the point, being precise in answering your question? Do you have any suggestion? Because that is something that we all are struggling.
Struggle? What else can I say? Struggle? It's like saying, I can't lift that weight. You have to struggle. That's the struggle. That struggle is what we have to do. As long as you're all doing that struggle, we are good.
The worst thing is forget the answer. We're not even coming with the right question.
Yeah.
We're taking more time for the question.
Yes, agreed.
Get
Yeah.
the
Take time
answer.
for the question. Take time. Be charitable. Try and understand what is it that person really wants to know. But don't fool around with their question. Sometimes you want to change their question. You're not changing their question. We're just trying to say, okay, what really is you? What is it you really want to know? You and I are studying the same subject. So I'm assuming that you know what I know. So now what is it that, which part of this is not clear? And we become more and more specific and we'll take this out into the world with us, hopefully. So when I'm talking to my husband, I'm talking to my wife, I'm talking to my child, I'm listening first before I'm giving advice and suggestions and comments. I'm just listening. What is it you want? And how can we help you get what you want? Not what is it I want and how will I make you do what I want? Let's remove this selfishness from our life. What is it you want? How can I help you get it?
Janki, would Pressy writing help in any way?
Of course, of course. Pressy writing is one of the best ways.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, shall we end the session, Janki ji?
One last question. Can I ask?
Ask Janki ji if she's willing to answer.
No, not me. You're the monitor. You take all
Yes,
the
yes.
decisions.
Yeah, please ask the last question.
Janki ji, if after the group discussion, after an hour has been over, and if we want to discuss further, can we like set another day and discuss it again? Will that be fine?
Certainly, you do whatever you want with the agreement of your group. But let this not become intellectual indulgence. Let it be specific. Okay, otherwise, when we don't give a cutoff, then we have all the time in the world. We will go on. We will learn how never to decide anything. So the advantage of having cutoff is, okay, you have to decide by this time. That's the advantage of it. So now you're saying, no, I want to do it for longer. So if you have a good reason to do it and your group agrees, sure, break any rule you want.
Like if you want to take a day break, think about it, then discuss it after 2 days.
Yeah, but with the consensus of your group, yes. But it's always good to have a hard stop so that we know that this job has to be done in this time.
Actually speaking, 1 hour is more than enough. 4 minds are working at a time. But yeah. Well, I think we should end now. Thank you so much, Janki ji. Thank you all. It was really enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om, everybody.
Hari Om, Janki ji.
Hari Om, Janki ji.
Hari Om, Janki ji. Thank you.
Hari Om, Janki ji.
Thank you, Janki ji.